Hi, thank you for clicking on this video. I've got something totally different for my channel. I want to talk to you today about my 5-night fall shawl, and I am super excited about this. This is not a crochet along. This isn't a step-by-step tutorial. This is a super simple fall shawl, or I like to do a triangle scarf that you can make in 5 nights. Now, when I say 5 nights, I just mean like an hour or two every night. Like you could blow through this in a weekend if you wanted to. It's all about your speed, but for me, I do still work a full-time job and I've got some other obligations. So this worked perfectly into my schedule, just working on it for 5 nights. It also was super simple. I didn't have to think a lot about it. Just a fun, easy project for this fall. Let's get started here. The yarn I used for this is from Knit Picks and We Crochet, and it's Stroll tweed, but this came in a mini pack. It's a fingering weight yarn. It is 65% superwash merino wool, 25% nylon, and it is 10% tweed. It is very soft. It is very drapey. It doesn't feel like woolly. It's just what I think of as like the perfect fall project. And this pack had these colors already put together. You can buy these in the full size skeins or hanks. I'm not sure which they come in. I think when it's a full that it's in a skein. These are the mini hanks, but they're small. I didn't even bother to get out my yarn winder because they're just under 100 yards each. So I just set it out and just rolled it as I went. It took me, maybe 4 minutes per hank. It would have taken longer to get out the yarn winder and all that, and to me it was just easier to do this. Like I even did one of them in the car. Let me tell you what colors they are. There's barley heather, persimmon heather, firecracker heather, forest heather, and dill heather. And these all came in the pack. I will have a link to where the packs are, because you could do this with any of the packs. They're packs that are the tweed or the painted, and I'm trying to think if there's another one. Those all come in 5 packs. There are, I think, 3 solid packs, and those actually have a 6th mini skein or a mini hank in it. So you could do a 6-night fall shawl, but those are different colors. You just kind of have to look through there. But this particular combination is called Harvest Festival. I love the fall. I love harvest. I love everything about it. So I was immediately drawn to these colors. So I'm going to go ahead and slip this off here, partly because I'm in a super heat wave. This turned out great. The order I did them in was forest, barley, dill, persimmon, and firecracker. You could do these in any order you wanted. I knew I wanted like the darker color up by my face, and since that was kind of going to be the most concentrated of it, and the color I wanted kind of the farthest from my face was the red. I didn't want that to be as concentrated, so that's why I chose to do that last. I also didn't really want to put the forest and the firecracker together because I thought it might come off a tad bit Christmassy. This was the order I decided on, and I am quite happy with it. A quick note, this is something where there was not hardly any waste on this either. I had this much of the red left. I had this much dill and this much forest. And I had a little bit, just a tiny, tiny little bit. I wouldn't say like a yarn chicken amount, but a little bit left of the barley, and the persimmon was definitely a yarn chicken amount. Because for me, when I did this, I did decide to color control it. I debated on not. I debated on just letting the colors just go one after another. But when it came out to such a nearly perfect amount on the first row, and then I went down to the second and it was like pretty much perfect again. I was like, you know what, I am just going to color control, and if I have a little bit of waste, I have a little bit of waste. But this is hardly anything, and I'm very satisfied with that. I am okay with that little bit. And I wanted to show you this without blocking it. I went back and forth and tried to decide whether or not I would block it or not, but I didn't, because I wanted you to get a good idea of what it was like beforehand. So this is pretty much my wingspan across. I am 5'4", so you can kind of estimate my wingspan, but I think that this is really almost like the perfect fall size. I feel like it's almost like bandana size, if that makes sense. And it is so soft and drapey, I'm not having any trouble with it like falling off or feeling like I need to secure it with a pin or anything like that. I think it's a great size. I used a 5mm crochet hook to do this, and I'll get to the pattern in just a second. I used a 5mm crochet hook, and I have a fairly loose tension when I'm crocheting. So you can see from these, like, this is not super tight. This is a fingering weight yarn, so obviously a 5 is larger than the recommended, but I wanted it to, again, be more drapey, just softer. You can really see how drapey it is there. But yep, you can see my tension is pretty loose. If you're a little bit concerned about the yarn chicken aspect, here are my 2 recommendations. You could either go down to like a 4.5, or if there's a 4.75, you could go down a little bit of a hook size. The other thing you could do is play the yarn chicken, and if you find that you don't have enough to finish a row, then perhaps maybe just take out that 1 row and just work on your tension a little bit, maybe make that one a little bit tighter in that particular row. Not a noticeable amount, but just a little bit, like maybe for that row, go down just a smidge in hook size, like to a 4.5 or 4.75, just to make sure that you accommodate for that. And it shouldn't have, really that big of an impact overall. So for the very top section here with the forest, I had 13 rows of the forest color, and then 6 rows of barley. And then I had 4 rows each of the dill and of the persimmon. And that's why I was playing so much yarn chicken with the persimmon. And had it have not worked out, I could have had 3 rows. That is just fine. It would have been fine if there was 3 rows of that and 3 rows of the red. That wouldn't have been a big deal at all. But I really like that persimmon color, so I was really trying to make that work. But then, yeah, the last row of the red does only have 3 on there. This pattern is basically a granny stitch. A lot of people are very familiar with that, but I did want to reference an easy to follow pattern. So I went ahead and used one from Kristen Almdahl, I think is how you pronounce her last name. I'm not 100% sure, so I'm sorry, Kristen, if I did mess that up, but I will link that video. And she did hers out of a mandala cake, and so hers is, definitely bigger than this one because it was a larger yarn and of course more yarn. But I used her concept, and in her video she specifically states that that video tutorial is for any weight of yarn in any yarn. So it's not like it was a video specific for that. She's like, yeah, use this on anything. And that hers did differ a little bit in her first and last rows from any of the granny square shawls that I have done in the past. So I don't know if I'm just remembering incorrectly or if this was in fact a little bit different, but I do really like how the edge of it turned out. So I have like 0 complaints about that. I thought it just worked up nice. I thought it worked up fast. And yeah, so I did each of these colors. I just broke it down into 1 per night and cranked it out in 5 nights. This pattern is definitely beginner friendly. Any basic crocheter can do this. If you are a more advanced crocheter, definitely you can, I mean, you could do a different pattern. I just thought this worked out so perfectly with the choice of yarn, the amount of yarn given, and the simplicity of the project to be able to break it out in such nice, easy, even segments of finishing it. In total, there is under 500 yards in this whole scarf, so definitely not something that you could like substitute a virus shawl for or anything like that. It would definitely need to be a super simple pattern. I will have links to the video I used and the products I used. Like, I would love to know if you make one of these. If you were on Instagram, I would love it if you would give me a follow and then like post a picture and tag me in it. Or you can always email me your photos too. I have my email always down in the description box. So I would love to see if you make this. Would you be interested in another one of these? Because I had fun doing this. I know myself, and I do not have the attention span to do like a massive crochet along. I think I would get bored. I think you'd get sick of me. So just something where if you're into like this type of not a crochet along, please let me know, because I kind of want to do another one. Any other questions about this particular project, leave it down in the description box and I will get back to you as soon as I can. I am going to be posting this the Friday night before Labor Day weekend in hopes, I mean, I don't know, but I'm posting it then in hopes that there could be a Labor Day sale at Knit Picks, or a coupon, or like a shipping deal or something like that, because a lot of yarn stores do have Labor Day sales. So definitely I hope you watch this and I hope there's a sale. But even if you're watching this later on, even like when it's already cold, since it is such a short project and you can do it in 5 nights easy without stress, I mean, you could pick this up at any point during the fall and still be able to wear it and enjoy it during the fall time. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. I will talk yarn again with you soon. Thank you so much for showing up here today. Bye.